Welcome to part 1 of my new game of Chrono Trigger. I'll be adjusting the volume in a minute once the opening credits are done rolling. Alright, the first thing we do is go downstairs, name our first companion. I am just using the pre-generated names for this playthrough since it's the new game. Get 200 gil allowance off the mother. Now I'll head to the mayor's house, which is the tutorial area. Everybody here will tell you about a function of the game. There's a potion, 100 gil in a chest, and if you talk to this fella twice, you'll gain 300 gil, which will give you 1,000 gil. Now with that 1,000 gil, we can get the next set of armor and weapons up in the square at the festival. And always make sure you equip your new items, especially in the first playthrough. Now this fella that's selling the swords, you can also come back when you get your next companion very shortly, and he'll ask about selling this pendant. About this pendant, before you go and get it, if you want the he's a good guy playthrough, speak to her first when you get control, and then pick up the pendant and return it to her. Now, whatever you do, do not eat this guy's meal for the good guy playthrough. At least not until after the trial. Now bring her the kitty cat, and she'll testify on your behalf. The kitty cat's kind of hard to guide. You got to go a little bit further than the turns so he lines up right. If he gets hung up, it'll count as a fail. Now, this mini game, the drinking contest, is a lot easier on the Steam version and I'm assuming the DS version, than it was on the original SNES. The button presses seem to take better. And that'll get you 5 fair points, silver points, each time. And you can go to this guy to trade it for 50 if you have 10. Okay. Now, introduce each of your new companions to your mother. They'll get a special greeting from her each time. For each new companion, I should say. In the forest, there's a strength capsule, which will increase your strength if you use it. On my first playthrough especially, I try to gather up all the pills for later when you reach level 99, and you can use them to fill out any stats that are missing. Now, at this house, I'm just grabbing the chest. It's the only chest in this town. You can also talk to the owner of this house to get 10 gills for acting like a chicken. Excuse me. And she's very excited about the ferry. This is the reason I grabbed the 50 gil, was just to use the ferry to get back. And it also gives you a chance to see what's close by in the world. And it's also a very good time waster because you need to use up so much time before the next part of the game opens up. Now, if you speak to the woman in the back, she speaks about her brother Fritz, who you can save later on in the prison after the trial to get a bunch of healing items. And as you can see, if you stand around too long, they start to act funny. Now this is the other mini game where you spend all your silver points. The 10 gives you a Pizio doll that sings you to sleep in your room, and all subsequent plays from that, it'll give you cat food. The 40.1 gives you a doll that you use later. Okay, now the device is opened up. Now here, all you have to do is just let it play through. Just set your controller to the side until she's done. If you want to do the bad playthrough, talk to her, bug her, run around, try to run around, and you'll get the negative feedback. Alright, now we start the meat of the game. And the reason we equipped ourselves with a little bit better equipment earlier. It seemed to work fine for Chrono, but with that pendant, it won't work so fine, as we're about to see. And For a girl, she sure talks like a dirty old man, old Lucia does, when it comes to that young lady. And now our wormholes open up. Once you regain control of Chrono, just walk up to the pendant and he'll automatically pick it up. And we'll move on to the next part of the story. I think his biggest mistake in this was chasing off the crowd after the accident instead of letting them witness what happens. One thing I gotta say about Lucia, she gives you a lot of the guesswork at the beginning of what's going on. And here's our Doctor Who opening credits scene moment. One thing I tried to do is limit my battles, and this will be our first battle coming up as soon as we move to the left of the screen, because there's 2 forced battles on this mountain. The reason to limit it is to try to keep yourself under level 10 so that when you meet Spico later, the guy who teaches you magic, you have a chance to get rare to get magical capsule or pill that raises your magic stat. And you can get one for every 10 levels by beating him. Unfortunately, by the time I got there in this playthrough, I didn't make it. I just hit level 10 or 11 just before getting to the end of time. Now, the first thing I always do is I go to the inn, talk to this guard, who tells you about them finding the queen running around the mountains we just came from. And then I talk to this fella and buy him a drink for 10 gold. And he'll tell you about the cathedral. And now we know that the cathedral's suspicious. Nothing really much in town right now. When we go into the forest, go to that same general area and we can pick up another speed capsule. Strength capsule, sorry. And try to keep to the edge of the trees as much as possible. And that'll keep you from having to fight unnecessary fights. Now in the castle, we'll find out what year it is. And we'll find our missing person. Oops, I gave away a spoiler there. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, though, is go talk to this commander. And he'll tell you about being able to rest in the beds. And on the other side is the kitchens. And I'll go there, pick up an item, and talk to a couple of people. And with that combination, we'll get a scene with the commander and the head chef. When we go up to the table. And if you see the guy in the corner there, he'll also give you a somewhat funny scene. But this one's kind of important for the next time we come to this time period. Now take the seat of where he is, and you get to choose from 3 dishes. One refills your magic, one refills your health, and the very last one, which I picked, refills both. And it's just as good as resting in the bed. Now, I'll go to talk to the king, and he'll, and the chancellor, who runs off, and he'll tell you about her missing hairpin. Now, follow the chancellor first. Check every floor for an item and get them. And those chests like that, the black ones with the yellow dots, can't be opened until about mid-game. Just make note of them for now. And when you find weapons and armor, make sure to equip them the first playthrough. I ended up cutting my out that I equipped it. Just to save a little bit of time. The next place we go will be to see the queen, and we do the exact same thing, checking each floor for items. Now when we go to talk to her, she asks us to move closer. You don't necessarily have to move closer, you can just press the A button and it works the same. Now in both the original opening and the remake's new cartoon, they do like to show this scene of her disappearing into this time stream. And it's a neat way for them to keep it down to only 3 people in your party and not get her into trouble while you're going to save the queen. Now let's head downstairs and our friend Lucia will show up with the gate key so we can get home and explain what all just happened to us. And once we get control of her, we'll head for the cathedral. Where we'll meet up with our third party member. But I always thought it was funny that they say the queen got killed off when we're obviously going to go save her. Since it's the only way home. And remember, this is the place on this time period where we can rest for free. And I do the same thing because at this point I was trying to keep it below level 10, which makes the boss fights that'll be coming up very rough. She joins us at level 2, so that's also making it rough. And the one we pick up here after this fight, which starts with talking to the nun, trying to find the hairpin, was very rough because I didn't level up one and I did not get more than a single tech and didn't get her tech at all, which is Fire Toss. And the combo of the two is Fire Whirl, which is like 4 times the amount of damage. So it takes all of my magic just to take out 2 of these guys fighting this way. So even if you're trying for a low level playthrough, I suggest at least getting Fire Whirl to make the forced fights a little easier when you're in the parties. Because after that attack, the only thing I can do is attack, and I'm slowed also. And there's our new companion, Frog. You can go without him, but especially in original new game run, it's almost impossible. You need them. And getting back to the boss will net you both of their techniques and double techs. Now, all you have to do is play the organ and it opens the secret doors. And because of that long, hard battle, I'm going to try to go back to the castle and rest. And then I'll end it at the gates of the cathedral. End this video at the gates of the cathedral. Now, if you don't care to get all the items before coming here, I'd suggest taking Meryl and even Lucia before going to the cathedral, and grinding a bit in both woods, present and past, and trying to save up 4,000 gold for the next video. And thank you for watching.